What's up, guys? So tonight's video is going to be stainless steel mesh versus the FC 2000 porous ceramic wick. Stainless steel mesh is going to be on the Porous Mini. The FC 2000 porous ceramic wick is going to be on the Lava Tube V2, and they're going to go head to head. I'm going to vape each one. I'm going to talk about what the differences are: vapor, throat hit, flavor. When I'm through vaping each one, I'm going to go over pros and cons of each one. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you which one I think is the best and why. All right? Now, I've got the exact same setting on each one. I'm vaping each one at 2.1 ohms at 5.5 volts, which reads somewhere around 14 watts. The battery life in each one is exactly 3.8 volts. All right? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the stainless steel mesh that I have on the Porous. I've got 325 mesh, which is my preferred mesh. Oh yeah, and if I didn't mention, I've got the same exact juice on each device, okay? Here we go, stainless steel mesh. And this is just vapor production, guys. We're just going to go through each one. When I'm done with this, I'll go straight to the FC 2000 and show you the vapor production as well. As you can see with the stainless steel mesh, it's putting out tons and tons of vapor. No complaints there. All right. And that is with the Sweet Leaf e-liquid from Mountain Vapor. Porous ceramic wick, FC 2000 with the Sweet Leaf. Same juice, same settings. I'll blow it that way so you can see it more. I don't know. This FC 2000 wick is putting out tons of vapor as well. I can't really tell which one's better. I'll let you guys be the judge. I'll take one more pull just to see. I think the FC 2000 porous ceramic is putting out more vapor. I mean, it's clouds of it. Now, with the stainless steel mesh, it's also putting out clouds, but with this porous ceramic, it's just more dense. The flavor, the vapor is just more dense. It's covering the whole screen. I'll take another hit off the stainless steel mesh to show you guys the vapor production again, and then I'll go back to the FC 2000. All right, stainless steel mesh. Nice cloud there. It's a nice cloud. And I am using the AC9 stock 1.5 millimeter air hole for each one. All right, back to the ceramic. I think the ceramic's got the stainless steel mesh beat. It's more dense. The clouds are more dense. But again, I'll let you be the judge. All right. Now the flavor. And I mentioned Sweet Leaf, same juice in both of these devices. Ceramic. I'm just getting, it's a very, very, very clean taste, flavor. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I'll be more descriptive. Sweet Leaf is like a hybrid RY4. It's like a it's like a really deep, rich pipe tobacco with with caramel and vanilla. It's just a really nice tobacco, and I'm getting every single one of those notes, but it's more like a pure taste to it. And I really didn't know that flavor until I tried the ceramic, going from the stainless steel mesh to the ceramic. Now I'm going to go to the stainless steel mesh. All right. Now with the stainless steel mesh, I'm still getting fantastic flavor. I'm still getting that deep, rich pipe tobacco. I'm getting a smaller hint of the vanilla, and then I'm getting that caramel on the end. Now, what makes this different, the stainless steel mesh from the porous ceramic? The stainless steel mesh has got it's more of a duller flavor. It's not as crisp and as pure. It's kind of like, it's different than this, but if you guys can relate to this, it's kind of like going from silica to stainless steel mesh. Silica is definitely more dense of a hit. You're getting more dense of clouds and the flavor, but the flavor is not as pure as the stainless steel mesh. Well, it's kind of like a jump from the stainless steel to the ceramic. So it's like the silica, and then the stainless steel, and then the ceramic as far as purity, crisp, flavor. I'm getting all the nuances, every single nuance of the flavor with the porous ceramic than I am with the stainless steel. And the thing that I really didn't notice is that with the stainless steel, I was getting, and I'm still getting, a metallic taste on the end. And it's not like a bad metallic like I mentioned before, but it's there. And it's because it's metal. I mean, you're vaping off of metal. So, and this coral has been breaking in for the past 3 days. So it's definitely broken in. Throat hit, just from taking these last vapes from the stainless steel to the porous ceramic. The throat hit on the stainless steel is more of a harsh throat hit. That could be good or bad depending on what you prefer. I really like a strong throat hit, and I'm getting more of a strong throat hit with the stainless steel mesh than I am the porous ceramic. Porous ceramic is more of a smooth throat hit. I would say it's more of like a lung fill. I can feel more of a lung fill with the porous ceramic versus the stainless steel mesh. Stainless steel mesh hits me in the back of the throat, especially with the same juice, with this juice. It's hitting me in the back of the throat with the stainless steel mesh, and with the ceramic, I'm getting more of I could feel it in the lungs, and I love that too. But I do prefer the more of the kick to the back of the throat. But those are the differences. So after a few days of jotting down the pros and the cons for each, the stainless steel mesh and the porous ceramic wick, I'm going to go through them. And first, I'm going to start with the SS mesh. First, the pros. It's cheap and easy to get. You can go buy a 12 by 12 sheet of stainless steel for $10. It's really easy to get. It's very accessible. That's a good thing. 2, it lasts a good while. I've had stainless steel wicks last me 4, 5, 6 months. 3, it's very easy to break in, and you can really push the limits. Another thing, it expands well with the Kanthal. Okay? 4, great flavor, produces great flavor. It produces great throat hit. It produces great vapor. Very pure taste. If I'd have never tried the porous ceramic, I would still be vaping the stainless steel mesh. It's that good. Okay? You can roll the size of the wick to your liking, to whatever Genesis atomizer you're using. So with this one, this uses a 3.5 millimeter wick hole. With the Did Mini, it uses a 2.8 millimeter wick hole. With this device over here, it uses yada 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 yada. You get where I'm going. You've got options. If you've got that sheet of Kanthal and you're rolling your own wicks, you can roll a fat wick, you can roll a skinny wick. If you're using a Zen, you can roll a skinny wick. I mean, the options are there. Also, Goes back to options again. You have many options to choose from as far as the type of stainless steel mesh you want to use, whether that's the 200, the 250, the 325, the 400, the 500, the 625. And like, you know, with my Provarta Mini, I have the 325 mesh in my Genesis because I'm using, you know, a 50-50 blend. If I'm using something with higher PG, like a 70-30, then I can use something like the 500 mesh. The options are there. It's great. It's a great thing to have. You save a lot of money in the long run versus going out and buying cartomizers and buying disposable atomizers. You can buy a sheet of stainless steel mesh. You can buy 100 feet of Kanthal for like, I don't know, $4 or $5, probably less than that now on eBay. And you're set for like at least a year or two if you know what you're doing. I mean, that's tons of money. That means that you're only spending money on juice. And forget about it. If you're making your own juice at home, you're DIYing, goodness, you're set. You got it made. Another really great thing about Genesis atomizers, the stainless steel mesh, and this is probably one of the main reasons I got into it, along with all those other pros that I just mentioned. But the biggest reason is because I like to rebuild something. Rebuilding. We are men, guys. Most of us are men using these things. And us men like to build things. Okay? We like to see something that we've made come to life. And that's the beauty of it. It's very, very therapeutic to roll that mesh, to oxidize it, to do it, you know, your own way, to wrap your coil your own way. I mean, therapeutic, and I enjoy it. Now, the cons of stainless steel mesh. It can be a pain in the ass to set up. When I first started using Genesis atomizers over a year ago, it was a pain in the ass. I mean, you know, oxidizing the wick, yes, it's therapeutic, but then getting it going and getting it going efficiently, if you don't know what you're doing, can be a pain in the arse. Even though stainless steel mesh lasts a while, a long time, compared to something like the disposable atomizer or cartomizers, I mean, 4 or 5 times longer at least. I've had, you know, at least 15 different wicks on me just break down, or they start to crumble, or they start to have holes in them, and you know, that's another con. Also, people get really turned off by using stainless steel mesh and oxidizing it, especially the newbies that are trying or that have looked into getting into the rebuildable market. It's a turnoff to them because they think it's, I've talked to so many people and they're like, oh, this looks so hard, when really it isn't, but it is to them, and it seems like it would be to them. You get a metallic taste on the end. Even if you break in a coil and you've been using the same stainless steel mesh for the past 3 months, you got a great coating on there, I still get a metallic taste on the end, thanks to using the porous ceramic. I never noticed it before then, but now I do. If you don't have your wick oxidized completely, or your coil right, you can get an awful dry hit, an awful burnt hit, especially if because I noticed when your wick is not completely oxidized, you don't have all your coils right, and they're not all glowing, you have a hot spot, you can get the worst taste ever. It's awful. I mean, it'll sting you. That's a pain. It tends to flood. The stainless steel mesh tends to flood. It tends to overwick at times. Now that's all dependent on the device that you're using, but for me, you have to get used to the stainless steel mesh because it will flood on you if you're not careful. And I think that's due to the fact that it's not solid. The wick is not solid. There's a hole in the middle, so every time that you tilt it, even if I tilt it at 4 o'clock or, you know, at 5 o'clock, if depending on how full my tank is, that juice is going to go right up through that hole and it could flood, and that's just a pain for me. Okay, those are my pros and cons of the stainless steel mesh. Now we're going to go on to pros and cons of the porous ceramic wick. First, the pros. 1, it wicks great. Probably out of all the wicking material that I've used to date, it wicks the best. Better than the stainless steel mesh. It doesn't ever overwick. I've never had it overwick in this AC9, ever. And I've had stainless steel mesh overwick on me a lot. It never overwicks. And I don't ever get dry hits on the porous ceramic. The only time I get a dry hit is if I've got maybe the juice is down to the very bottom. Okay? Other than that, I don't get dry hits. When I do get a dry hit, it's nothing like the stainless steel mesh as far as that dry, awful, burnt hit. It's not like that. It's more of just like a, okay, you need to put more juice in here type of thing. It doesn't clog up. And that's one thing I forgot to mention on the stainless steel mesh. The stainless steel mesh tends to clog up a lot. It gunks up a lot. I don't ever get any clogging up on the porous ceramic like I do on the stainless steel mesh. Also, the porous ceramic wick stays hotter longer, which allows a more efficient wicking. You guys who are rebuildable junkies out there, if you're watching this, you know that once you start firing that coil up, the hotter it gets, the faster that juice from your tank runs up to where those coils are. Well, with porous ceramic, and I did a test, if I blowtorch the porous ceramic, I get all hot and red. It takes literally 4 to 5 minutes to cool down. I burned the hell out of my finger the other night when I was torching it, and I thought that it was good to go, and I'd waited 3 or 4 minutes because I was just waving around, trying to cool it off. I burned the hell out of myself, whereas with stainless steel mesh, if I blowtorch it, I only have to wait a minute, and it cools off. Not with the porous ceramic, because it stays hotter longer, which allows for more efficient wicking. It's also solid. The porous ceramic is solid, and I noticed that with a more solid wick, it allows for more efficient wicking. You don't ever get over wicking. As long as the wick is not completely sealing that wick hole and it's solid, you're going to get a more efficient wicking. And that's how the porous ceramic is versus the stainless steel mesh. The porous ceramic wick produces the purest flavor that I've tried to date. With this juice I'm vaping, Sweet Leaf, as soon as I started to use the porous ceramic and I broke in those coils, the flavor came through like no other. Like I've never tried before. So much that when I went back to the stainless steel mesh, I started to get a metallic taste on the end, and it kind of ruined it for me, which kind of pisses me off a little bit, but it just shows how much better the flavor comes through on this porous ceramic. It's definitely, to me, more convenient than the stainless steel mesh. I don't have to oxidize anything. Now the cons for the porous ceramic. It takes a while to break in. You cannot wrap this thing like you do stainless steel mesh and go extreme. If you're an extreme vapor, guys, and if you're watching this and you like to vape 1 ohm or below, you're going to have a tough time with porous ceramic because you're going to have to break it in, okay? You can't wrap, a 28 gauge 3.2 wrap at 0.7, 0.8 ohms or whatever that is and vape it. It's not gonna perform right. Like I mentioned before, she's like a woman. She's like an oven. It takes time to break her in. But when she does break in, she breaks in really nice. If the wick and the coils on the porous ceramic aren't broken in properly, what will happen is the kanthal will expand. Just like I mentioned before, for those of you extreme vapors, if you do not break in a coil properly on the porous ceramic, the kanthal will start to expand. And you're going to get a hot spot. Not a hot spot due to the fact that it's conductive in any way, but a hot spot in the fact that the kanthal expands and the ceramic doesn't expand with the kanthal like something like the stainless steel mesh or the silica or the cotton or whatever else you're using. It doesn't expand with it. So if you just try to go to town and you pop those coils on there and you go, oh, gotta check to see if all my coils are lighting up like you do in the stainless steel mesh. No need to do that. Just pop it in, wrap your coil, put your juice in there, start at the lowest volts, break it in for a good half a tank, and then slowly take it up. But if you don't do that and you pop it in there and you just start revving it up, she's going to expand on you. You're going to have to wrap a new coil, okay? It's really hard to get porous ceramic right now. But that's the nature of it. Anything new is hard to get, okay? You're going to have to wait maybe a month or two until people are offering it. And that's what's going to happen. Just be patient with it, but that's another con. There are only two different options of sizes out there for this porous ceramic. From what I've seen, the 1/8 and the 3/32. And that's a bummer because I know there's a lot of Genesis atomizers out there that you guys are using that use different size wick holes. So unlike the stainless steel mesh where you can roll it to that size that you want it, you can't do that with a porous ceramic. It is what it is. Porous ceramic is brittle. They'll snap easy. I had 2 of these wicks. One of them already snapped. And it wasn't while I was wrapping the coil. It was because I dropped them on like an idiot. And the impact made it snap. But it did snap. And you don't want to spend, I don't know how much they're charging now these days. I mean, I saw that site selling 3 wicks for like 19 bucks. You don't want to spend 19 bucks and not knowing what you're doing and snap all 3 of them. That's a waste of money. So that's another bummer. But the good news is that I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this in a video. Now, I know I said I was going to do it last video, but the fact of the matter is I wrapped this coil up 2 weeks ago and it's still going for me. And I've broken it in. And so I do not want to take this thing apart. So I apologize, guys. But when it goes bad, I'm going to take it apart and do a video on it. Okay? Now, what do I think? Which one's better, in my opinion? Which one do I like? Well, I've got the porous ceramic on here now, and there's no stainless steel mesh to be found. My wife is actually in the other room right now vaping on that with the stainless steel mesh because I'm really loving this porous ceramic so much. Like I said, I broke this coil in, and I was very patient, guys. And I broke her in, and now she's running right. She's at 2.3 ohms. It seems like it goes up. With the porous ceramic, it goes up slower than the stainless steel mesh. With the stainless steel mesh, you wrap a coil, and then like an hour later, it'll go up 0.1 or 2 ohms. With the ceramic, it takes like a week just to go up 0.1 ohms. And for me, I had it at 2.1, 2.2, and now it's at 2.3 ohms. And I'm vaping it at, I can take this puppy to 6 volts and watch. I mean, this is, that's banging right there. Banging flavor, banging throat hit, banging vapor production. It doesn't get much better than that for me right now. And every time I go back to the stainless steel mesh, I get that metallic taste on the end. And it's not pure. And I just want to go back to the ceramic. So right now, I'm really enjoying this porous ceramic. I can definitely see this being a success in the vaping world. I can see it definitely moving forward for us vapors out there who are into rebuildables. So I'm a big fan of the porous over the stainless steel mesh, and that's saying a lot because I used stainless steel mesh for the last year, and I mean I've always been a big fan of it ever since I started with rebuildables or started with Genesis atomizers. So yeah, porous ceramic's got a win in my book. This is Rip Trippers. Let me know if you have any questions. Love helping out the vaping community, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.